Have you ever seen these power lines driving around? Or have you seen the Northern Lights? Have you possibly seen these equations? Have you? All of these are connected by one person. Can you guess who that person is? This man is Oliver Heaviside. In 1850, he was born in a small borough of London called Camden Town, which was a very, very poor town. His father was a wood carver, and his mother briefly taught at a local school. He also had an uncle, Sir Charles Wheatstone, who was the co-inventor of the telegraph in England and plays a more important role in his life in his teenage years. In Heaviside's early childhood, he fell ill with scarlet fever. This disease left him partially deaf for the rest of his life. Due to this, he was bullied and outcast for most of his childhood, and most believe that's why he had such a sour and bitter personality for his whole life. Despite all the hate he got, he still did extremely well in school. When he was 16, Heaviside left school to pursue his own studies of electricity, magnetism, and the languages of German and Danish. When he turned 18, Oliver Heaviside landed his one and only job as a telegrapher in Denmark. During this time, he continued his studies of electromagnetism and telegraphy, and by 1872, he published his two first papers on circuitry and telegraphy. These two papers caught the eye of James Clerk Maxwell, a well-known Scottish physicist at the time. He cited Heaviside's work in his treatise on electricity and magnetism, and when Heaviside caught wind of this, he became so obsessed with Maxwell's work that he quit his job to pursue a life dedicated to studying and understanding Maxwell's work. The only problem is that Heaviside did not know the high-level math that was included in all of this work. So he spent the next couple of years really studying and learning math, and then he ended up coming up with some key concepts that are still vital to mathematics that we use today. First, he came up with the Heaviside step function, which essentially is just a function that shows whether a circuit is on or off by the value of 0 being off and the value of 1 being on. Also, he came up with operational calculus, which is used when solving differential equations. The way it works is you change a differential equation into an algebraic equation, which makes it much easier to solve. And then, after you solve it, you change it back into a differential equation. He also discovered operators, more specifically, vector calculus operators like the cross product or dot product or gradient. These operators made 3D math much, much easier to understand than with the current means that they had at the time. In 1880, Heaviside created a patent for the first coaxial cable ever. This cable made transmitting signals much more efficient, and they're still used everywhere today, which is pretty cool. In 1884, he had finally conquered Maxwell's 20 equations and simplified them down to 4, which are seen and taught everywhere around the world. And then 1 year later, he came up with the telegrapher's equations, which describe how voltage and current move through extremely long cables, which is awesome because we have all of those everywhere. In 1887, both of his parents passed away, which left him very sad and alone because he lived with his parents, so now he had to go live on his own by himself. Heaviside's last noteworthy accomplishment was in 1902, when worldwide radio communication had been invented. The problem was that we thought radio traveled in a straight line, and that wasn't possible to travel through the earth. So Heaviside had some deep contemplation and came up with a prediction that there must be a layer in the atmosphere that these radio waves can bounce off of and travel to the other side of the world, which was later confirmed, and now that layer is called the Heaviside-Kennelly layer, which is the lower layer of the ionosphere in our atmosphere. All of his work is still prevalent today. It shows up in our internet, long power lines, students studying physics and math, and real-world engineers using this math to build the world we live in today. Overall, Heaviside was a very unknown mathematician and physicist whose work is still extremely impactful and helpful for today's world. Thank you for watching my video. Here are my sources. Here are my picture sources.